Good morning. Hello everyone. I haven't reminded my family I'm live, so if anybody walks in half naked or swears, I do apologise. It's been a little while since I've been here. As you can see, my hair's a little bit shorter, but I'm still very much here, very much alive and kicking, thank goodness. It wouldn't be a normal talking with my goddess for me if there was no computer issues. So I'm currently on my phone because the Zoom on my Facebook and my Facebook Live decided to update. So I am slightly swearing at it, but hey, it's all about harmony and balance today. So no swearing from here. So I'll just have a little chat before a couple of you pop in. Hopefully someone's here hiding in the background. I don't know who you are, but good morning. So if I don't pick up comments, it's because I'm on my phone and it doesn't always show, though. If the laptop, which is a new one, so it should be okay, that decides to spring back into life, we'll be well away. So what have I been up to? I've been making sure I'm well. That's been an important thing this year. Those of you that know me will know that. I've had a few health issues, but I'm back to almost 100%. So I never was quite 100% in the first place, but I'm here. So anyway, I'm back and I'm good. So yeah, so it's the usual weather reports. It's sunny and it's warm. It's also my daughter's birthday today. She's 24 and she's here, and her and her fiance are off to see they keep calling it a dog festival, but it's a dog show up at the Detling Showground. So she's off to see that in a minute, and the trucker is lurking downstairs with his usual levels of noisiness. So he might burst in a minute, forgetting that I'm here, but that's fine. It's all well and good. So what I'll do is I'll make a start in a minute. I know you can always get me on catch up later. So today we were going to talk about the autumn equinox. Now, what is the autumn equinox? So according to the Royal Museums at Greenwich, the science bit, the Earth is tilted on its axis, meaning that as it orbits the sun shines on and illuminates either the northern or the southern hemisphere, depending on where the Earth is along its orbit. During 2 points during the year, the sun will illuminate the northern and southern hemispheres equally, and these are known as the equinoxes. So obviously we're at the autumn equinox in September each year, where it's between about the 21st and the 22nd. Sometimes, good morning lovely Laura, how are you my darling? So sometimes it can be as early as the 20th and as late as the 23rd, or it can be, it's usually the 20th or the 21st. And then obviously it also happens again in March around the same sort of time, the 20th, 21st, depending on how it's a movable date due to the astronomical definition. So like Easter moves, it's not a move. So equinox is not always a pinpointed definite date, but we know that. So this year it is on the 22nd of September and it's 7:21 GMT, but we're in GMT +1, so it's 8:20 in the evening. So it's also known in the Druidic belief system as Alban Elfed, and that means light of the water, which is a beautiful and poetic way of talking about it, which doesn't surprise me with the Druids because they are wonderfully poetic. So Mabon is another term you might have heard, and that was coined by Alexander's. Now he's sort of the father of the Alexandrian Wiccan group. So this was prior to that. Mabon was a god of Welsh mythology, and he's a child of light, and he was the son of the earth mother goddess Modron. So whether you believe that, oh, Laura's feeling sleepy, is it time to put in a cobble box winter like a blue Peter tortoise? You wouldn't need a terribly big box to do that. We could do that, Laura. I mean, I know you're vegan, but I mean, hay and lettuce, do you want nothing else, you know, for your tortoising? It does feel a bit hibernated, doesn't it? Definitely feels a bit like time for hibernation. So also this time of year is famous for the Harvest Festival. So in the Christian church we would celebrate the bounty of God's harvest, and you know, all the crops are coming to the maturity. Everything is beginning to be, it's coming towards the end of the harvesting. So the first harvest is Lammas, which is August the 1st or the 2nd. This is the second harvest, and the most of it is in by now. All that's really left now are a few, or the apples and the pears, the hard fruits, and there are some berries that are still going. And hence the Samhain is sometimes known as the third harvest. But even though this is the main harvest festival, and if you grew up in a Christian church or even at school, you'd remember all the bringing all the goods in for the harvest festivals and making out packets of or boxes of hampers for people that were perhaps less fortunate in the community. And in the agricultural tradition, there's Harvest Home, and there was a massive celebration when the last of the harvest was cut and in finally. I mean, even today, it's a race against time. So particularly when there wasn't all the things to preserve things, it would have been hugely important, and a downfall right at the wrong time for doing a crop. So that's why it's always been important, and it's harvesting. So it's a time of balance, of a point between summer and winter, and it's a time of harmony. It's also connected with day and night, dark and light, and also life and death. Because actually, you know, in our agricultural tradition here in the UK, if you didn't get that harvest in, you would face a rotten old winter without any food, and you could die. There wasn't, you know, the welfare state, there wasn't social security. You could really starve to death. Even before the poorhouses, you would starve to death in your hut. So of course, you know, there were times when we didn't always get it in, but it's also a time about reflecting on what you've achieved and harvested, not just physically, not just, you know, in terms of food and harvest, or economically, the money that you've got in the bank, but it's also about emotionally, physically, emotionally, personally and spiritually. And I think it's a point of the year where we know the winter is coming. Good morning, Naomi. Hello, my darling hedgehog. You're not going to hibernate for the winter, are you? Along with Laura as the tortoise. They'd be a right pair, a tortoise and a hedgehog, wouldn't they? These are some lovely friends of mine. Good morning, Sarah, all the way from the Isle of Wight. Hello, my darling. How are you? I wonder how your year's going, because Sarah moved earlier this year, around sort of spring equinox time, just a bit before then, I think. And yeah, we're just reflecting on the emotional and spiritual and personal changes, you know, that you go through, and reflecting on them. And this is a time to harvest what you've achieved and look at what you have achieved. Good morning, Mark. Glad to see you all the way from Derbyshire. That's lovely. All my regulars and favourites back. Excellent. So it's a chance to look at your plans and see what you have achieved and what you haven't, and as well as celebrating all the things you've achieved. So, you know, for example, you may have got that job, you may have made that move, you may have started studying this. It's also a time to look at what you haven't achieved, and that isn't a bad thing, because when you look at something you haven't achieved, you can go, do I still want to do it? Is there a reason I didn't do it? Is there, you know, is it because I don't want to do it? Jenny always talks about this with the what do you call it, when she does the New Year thing. You know, if you haven't achieved it last year, there's a reason, was it that you didn't want to achieve it? And it's very true. Maybe your plans have changed, and Naomi hibernates all year round. Oh, we drag you out sometimes, Hedgie. Do you need to discard these plans? Is it that something's come along and you're like, actually, I don't want to do that anymore? Is it that the time hasn't been right? And just remember, it's okay not to achieve all these wonderful things you set your mind to. You see on social media, you don't see people saying, damn, I didn't get round to doing that course this year. Damn, I haven't spent more time being spiritual this year. People don't put that. They put on their Instagram pictures of their super duper altar, and oh, I've done this and I've done that, which is great. And I'm really, really pleased for that. But sometimes you don't get around to doing it for whatever reason. You know, sometimes beyond your control, you can't get around to doing it. And I think sometimes your spiritual growth and your feeling the light and the dark, and feeling that balance, and knowing that it's okay to have a look at your dark side and sit with your dark self. It's perfectly okay, and that's part of life. And you can't be, and this is coming from a super positive person who's infuriatedly positive at times. This is coming from me, who you know, always likes to get on and do the next bit. But I've had a bit of a year where I had to wait and not do some of the things I wanted to do, which I'll come to later on. But yes, but there's a beautiful poem I wanted to read you, and it's by Emily Bronte, who is the Brontes are loves of mine, and it's called Fall Leaves Fall. And I think this just makes me think of the time of the year, and also I think she was talking about her reflections on her personal year. So it's Fall Leaves Fall by Emily Bronte. Fall leaves fall, die flowers away, lengthen night and shorten day. Every leaf speaks bliss to me, fluttering from the autumn tree. I shall smile when wreaths of snow blossom where the rose should grow. I shall sing when night's decay ushers in a drearier day. And that could be grim, and it could be that she's sort of, you know, a very negative kind of person. But I think it's also embracing that. And I know people saying, oh, I don't like it when it gets darker. And somebody else was saying the other day, what's your favourite season? And I love them all. I actually love them all. And I think that's the best thing that my journey has given me, is to look at the year in whole as part of a cycle of life and everything. And Naomi's saying, I was saying to Michelle this morning, I've grown spiritually enough to make the change I need, especially with home improvement. Yeah, you have. You have. And you are someone that would hibernate as well, aren't you? So, and I think knowing that that's a skill that you've gained and grown by having to do it, by people not being able to come around and do it, I guess, with this wretched lockdown. So yeah, that's a really good example, Naomi. Thank you for that. Thanks for sharing. So that's my little thoughts on, you know, the time of year and the equinox and that. And the goddesses we associate with this year in the Celtic tradition is Banwa. And that's the one that's spelled B-A-N-B-H-A. She might be Banba, but I've Googled it and it looks like she's Banwa. And Ceridwen, of course. The Roman, we've got a fantastically named goddess called Autumnus. And in the Greek tradition, we've got Hestia and Demeter, of course. The Incas had Pachamama, who's a bit like Gaia. And in the Indian and the Vedic tradition, we've got Prithvi. So correspondences of Mabon. The colours are brown earrings, brown hair, well, reddy brown hair, slightly faded now. Red and orange. I've got orange on. I don't very often wear orange, but I'm wearing orange today. Hello, Santosh. Thank you for joining us. Yellow and gold, all those harvesty colours. And crystals in particular, amber, citron, tiger's iron, opal, all those colours of fire and the colours of the harvest reflecting the leaves that we see. And they're starting to change here. As I look out, they're starting to get a little bit, they're not so green as they were, they're not so shiny as they were. But, you know, they haven't really changed to these beautiful autumn colours yet that I'm looking for. So I was going to do this beautiful ritual I found where you've got the leaves and you wrote on them, but I found something else instead. And this is a Mabon ritual to honour the dark goddess that I want to share with you. Now that sounds a bit woo, but where I was talking about the, you know, embracing your darker side, I think it's important that we know we're going to sit with that dark side. We're going to sit with the dark nights and a little bit of emptiness for some people and a little bit of wishing it was the summer was back. And some people dread this time of year. Lots of people are actually physically really affected with it by SAD. So, which is a very real thing. And it's easier to get down when the nights are long and dark and the days are less and the days are a bit crappy and you can't get out as much as you used to. So this is one I've adapted by one from Patty Wigington, and you'll find her. She writes on learn religions. And I just found it and I thought, oh, this is rather cool. I really like this one. And it was not a thing I'd thought about before. I was thinking, oh, you know, it's all about the celebration and the harvesting and all the good. But sometimes I think, especially when we've had a year like COVID and a year, I've had a bit of a year of it, but I say, but yeah, so you decorate your altar with all the colours that you know that I said about, the oranges, the reds, the golds and the yellows. So this one is mainly focusing on Demeter and Persephone. So you want to add flowers of red and yellow for Demeter, maybe purple or black for Persephone, because obviously if we know our mythology, Demeter was the mother, and Hades stole Persephone, tricked her into spending time in the underworld. And that's why we get the seasons, 6 months of the year. I think it was 3 months of the year she had to go down into the underworld. So was it 6 months? I can't remember now. My bad. So add anything to your altar that fits for this ritual. Mine's simple because it's trying to show, oh, a little fly buzzing around. Trying to show you and everything. And my room's an absolute pigsty, so I'm not spinning the camera around. So anything you have to represent them. So with your candles, you can use the harvest colours. Now for mine, for candles, I've got a white candle for Demeter and a black candle for Persephone. And in candle magic, if you're doing candle magic, white will always fit in for whatever you want to do. It was beautiful in the woods this morning, all misty and leaves changing and failing, but still a tad warm. Yeah, it is beautiful. It really is beautiful out there. I'm rushing around today. I'm doing this and I'm going to work, and then I've got Mason Pagan's moot and ritual this afternoon. So that's going to be different because it's my daughter's birthday. We're going out for supper tonight. So I always say she's my Mabon baby. My son's an Immolc baby. My dad's a Lammas baby, and my mum's a Spring Equinox baby, Ostara. So that's, you know, we celebrate quite a lot. So if you wanted to do this as well, you need a chalice of wine or grape juice. Well, we went to Hampton Court this year, and my dad bought us festival mead as a treat. And actually Hampton Court was something I wanted to do on my birthday, but I never got around to doing last year. But finally did it. Didn't do it on my 50th this year because we're still in lockdown. But we went for Mark's 51st and a quarter surprise birthday to keep him out of the pub, keep him out of the way. So I've got this, and it's just, cause it's a beautiful golden colour. And it's called The Field of the Cloth of Gold. And I love my Tudors. It just seems totally appropriate. It says, this traditional mead offers a delicious blend of luxurious golden honey laced with the memory of warm summer sunshine. That'll do me. I'm only going to have a little drop because I've got to go to work and serve lunatics in the pub, but that's cool. And she suggests having a pomegranate. Well, Tesco's just didn't have a pomegranate. I mean, what sort of world are we coming to? So, undeterred, I've got an apple because apples are just as magical, just as special. And I think that's something that I know myself and my friend Jenny, when we've been talking about different things, you know, you can have all the stuff, but sometimes you have to make do with what you've got, and you could spend a fortune buying this and that, and actually what you've got indoors is pretty good anyway, and you can use it. And you know, for having an athame, and I've just got a trusty kitchen knife, so that'll do for me. So to start with, I'm going to call in the quarters as I usually do. So let's just take a minute. I call in the element of earth in the north, the blessed earth beneath our feet that has birthed our crops and longs for its winter sleep. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the air in the east, the warm winds that have swept our land and bring changes, or bring the cooler autumn air. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the fire of the south, the warmth of the sun, for its precious heat that sustains us, and as it journeys, as we journey round the sun, I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the water in the west, the rain that has quenched our land and will refresh both the land and us over the coming months. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the goddess, the blessed and bountiful mother of the land, who holds us safely in the light and in the dark. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the gods, the powerful father who fertilises the land and the mother in its yearly cycle. I bid you hail and welcome. I call to the ancestors, those of our blood and our bone, those who kept our earth strong, who were the stewards and have passed their traditions to us. I bid you hail and welcome. And I call to the spirits of place, the blessed earth and rock and streams and waters and the woods around us that hold us and surround us. I bid you hail and welcome. So I've got another poem for you, which is rather lovely, and it's adapted from one by a lady called Jacqueline Nash. On this, the first day of autumn, the sun is now upon the wane. Day and night are of equal measure. The balance of light and dark will reign. Now the nights begin to colden. Increasing darkness now ensues. The sap returns again to tree roots, and the leaves amaze with changing hues. This is a time to reflect on the past, and for our future to be planned. The wheel turns again on its aging year, and we remember all things must end. We must say farewell to summer as autumn leaves begin to fall, and if we listen very hard, we'll hear the chill of winter's call. And I thought that was lovely and really appropriate. Hello, Katie. Thank you for joining me. Because as I said, it's, you know, it's not just about losing the summer, but it is about gaining the winter as well. So the wheel turns again. We welcome the equinox of autumn. Mabon, Alban Elfed, harvest home. The time of the year where there is equal day and night. Their eternal dance is in perfect balance. The light and dark are in harmony. The year and the fields have given up their harvest to us gladly, and we are blessed with their bounty, both in our bellies and our minds. As our harvest ends, we are reminded of changes in earth and body. The maiden and the lover have been. The mother has given us her bounty. She is prepared to reap what has been sown. She approaches the crone. The earth dies a little each day, and we must embrace this slow descent into darkness before we can truly appreciate the light that will return in a few months. We make time to honour the Dark Mother, to thank her for her sacrifice. We honour Demeter and Persephone, who face a yearly separation and are the epitome and the personification of light and dark, and of life and death. So with my black candle, or the candle for Persephone. Good morning, Jenny. Just due to appear when Demeter's mentioned. It's like a summoning for her. The land is beginning to die, and the soil grows cold. The fertile womb of the earth has gone barren, as Persephone descends into the underworld. So the earth continues its descent into night. As Demeter mourns her loss of her daughter, so we mourn the days drawing shorter. The winter will soon be here. This is where I set fire to myself. Nearly. I light the candle for Demeter. In her anger and her sorrow, Demeter roamed the earth, and the crops died, and life withered, and the soil went dormant. In grief she travelled, looking for her lost child, leaving darkness behind in her wake. We feel the mother's pain, and her hearts break for her, as she searches for the child she gave birth to. We welcome the darkness in her honour. Oops, maybe not there. Let's put this there. I'm now going to cut my opal open. And as always, you see the magical star. And I'm going to take the seeds out, put them in a little bowl. And take 6 seeds, if you've got 6. 6 seeds. Put them in your bowl. I'm going to place them on my altar. 6 months of light and 6 months of dark. The earth goes to sleep and later wakes again. O dark mother, we honour you this day and dance in your shadows. We embrace that which is the darkness and celebrate the life of the crone. Blessings to the dark goddess on this night and every other. It's time for the mead. Only a little because I've got to drive. I might have a bit more this evening. And this is in my beautiful goddess glass that says, honour the goddess within. Oh, that is beautiful. Demeter, Inanna, Kali, Tiamat, Hecate, Nemesis, Morrigan, bringers of destruction and darkness, I embrace you this day. Without rage, we cannot feel love. Without pain, we cannot feel happiness. Without night, there is no day. Without death, there is no life. Great goddesses of the night, I thank you. So now we would take a few minutes to meditate on the darker aspects of our soul. And obviously I did that before. So dark goddess, we allow ourselves to think of any pain and hurt we've been longing to get rid of. We allow ourselves to name the anger and frustrations we've been unable to move past. Now is the time to take this energy and turn it to our own purposes. We take the pain and hurt inside us. We give voice to the anger and frustration and reverse it so that it becomes a positive experience. We allow the tears to flow and soothe us. Dark Mother, my year has been dominated by periods of ill health, of operations and treatment, which has been trying. But I give thanks to have sat in the darkness with you, to sit in the stillness, to deal with fear and worry, maybe even face death, sideways if not straight on. I give thanks that I am still here. And I've been shown so many times by my loved ones just how loved I am. And this has filled my heart with love and gratitude and joy. So I'm now going to close our little circle down. The spirits of place, the blessed rock and earth and stream and woods that surround us. I thank you for joining with us. I bid you hail and farewell. The ancestors, those of our blood and bone, those who kept our land strong and passed their traditions down to us, thank you for joining us. I bid you hail and farewell. To the gods, the powerful Father who fertilises the land and the Great Mother every year, I bid you hail and farewell. To the beautiful and bountiful goddess, the mother of the land, I thank you for holding us safely in light and dark. I bid you hail and farewell. To the water in the west, the rain that has quenched the land and will refresh us both us and the land, I bid you hail and farewell. To the fire in the south, the warmth of the sun for its precious heat as we journey round it and the love it brings, I bid you hail and farewell. To the air in the east, the warm winds that have swept over our land and now bring the cooler winds of change of the autumn, I bid you hail and farewell. And to the earth in the north, the blessed earth beneath our feet, that has birthed our crops and longs for its winter sleep, I bid you hail and farewell. And finally is a little blessing for you all, which is anonymous. Sounds like cinnamon mum, doesn't it, Jenny? Oh, thank you, Laura. You are loved too, my darling. Embrace this time, the change of light, the shorter days and longer nights. The wheel has turned, the time will change. The darker side of earth remains. There's magic in the lunar light, her intuition at its height. The alchemy of Mother Earth, from birth to death, will bring rebirth. The cycle of nature, unbroken and true, may she bestow harmony and balance to you. Blessed be. Blessed be, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Just a little short one today, just to get back into it. And because unfortunately I've got to go to work. But I've got lots of lovely people lined up to come and talk to you. I've lost my piece of paper. Where's my piece of paper? That'll teach me to try and be organised. Oh no. Well, I can remember vaguely who's coming. Oh, that's rubbish. Anyway, I have got, sorry about that. So over the next few weeks, we have got, next week, I've got lovely Jenny Luddington joining me. And Jenny's going to talk to us about camps and gatherings, or pagan camps and gatherings. Some of them we've been to together, some we've been online. So that's something interesting coming up. Then we've got the lovely Tina's back as well. And she's going to be talking about dreams. And she's been really getting into dreams and their meanings this year. So that will be something to be interested in. We've also got lovely Jacqueline coming back as well. And she's going to talk to us about Michaelmas Day, which is around the 10th of October. And some Blackberry folklore and some folklore from nature. Oh, thank you, Katie. Be lovely. Oh, I will be. And you, Katie. And then we've also got my friend Naomi, who regularly goes on a pilgrimage for the Kaniak. She's going to come and talk to us about her journeys, and they are amazing. Those of you that know her, she takes some wonderful photos on her journeys to share with everybody. And then we've got some of the ladies from Kent Goddess Group are going to come and talk to me about embracing the crone, not just as you get older, but embracing the crone time of year. And one of these ladies is younger and she's nowhere near being a crone yet. So that'll be an interesting conversation. So that's some of the things we've got planned. Thank you for coming back and joining me. It's really lovely to, I thought, what if nobody turns up? And I thought, hey, sit with the dark side, it'll be cool. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And so it's only brief this morning. Next week will be lovely Jenny, and I'm sure that won't be nearly so brief because we like a chat, quite frankly. So yeah. So, okay, thank you so much for joining me. And my tummy's rumbling. And, oh, it's not going to let me finish. And I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye. Oh, it's not letting me do. That you love computers.